would you look at this? Look at this beautiful piece of pumpkin pie with freshly made whipped cream on it. I'm going to get a taste of this. And you know what's funny is I love pie, but pumpkin pie generally is one of my least favorite kinds of pie. I like all pie, but it's my least favorite. I would easily pick another kind ahead of it. I'd pick apple, I'd pick cherry, I'd pick anything with chocolate, peanut butter, stuff like that. But when fall comes around and it gets a little colder, I don't know why, but pumpkin pie is just like the best tasting thing. So here we go. I'm going to take a bite. I'm going to get some of this beautiful whipped cream here. Okay, went over the side. That's okay. Hey, whipped cream, work with me. Okay. It's not working with me. That's okay. Here we go. Let's try this beautiful bite of pie. Oh my God. That is so good. That is so flavorful. I'm gonna have another bite because it's right here. There. We've got spices. You get the creaminess of the pumpkin. That is delicious, even from a pumpkin pie non-fan like myself. So let me show you how to do it. All right, so the ingredients to make pumpkin pie are right here. It's not a lot of stuff, and you know there's a secret. Pumpkin pie is one of the easiest kinds of pies to make. For real, you'll see. Okay. So here's what goes in our pumpkin pie. First of all, sugar, regular basic sugar, cinnamon, that's cinnamon, ground ginger, okay, and ground cloves. Now you got to make sure you have ground cloves. They look like powder. If you have this kind of cloves, these are whole cloves and they look like that. Okay, that's not the right thing. You want ground cloves. Okay, and you also want salt, 2 eggs, 1 can of pumpkin, and make sure that you look at the label and the only thing listed on the ingredients is pumpkin. Usually I have a brand called Libby's Pumpkin, but I couldn't find that, so I'm using this kind, but it's still the same thing because the ingredient says just pumpkin, that's it. You're going to need a can, a 12 ounce, I think, can of evaporated milk, okay? It's got to be evaporated milk. It can't be regular milk like you put on cereal or that you drink. It's got to be evaporated milk. Evaporated milk is always going to come in a can. So you got to make sure you get the right thing. And the other thing you need to get is a pie crust. I'm not making my own pie crust for this one. We're going to buy one. This is frozen, okay? Now the key word for this is deep dish. It has to be a deep dish, 9-inch crust, pie crust. That's what you want. If you get the smaller one, you'll have way too much filling. Okay, so let me tell you what I also did before I get preparing this is I have preheated my oven to 425. And preheating the oven to 425 is really important because that's a high temperature and it's going to take your oven a while to get there. And speaking of ovens, the oven is not going to stay at 425 for the whole time. More on that later, and I'm going to prep out these ingredients. All right, so the first step is going to be to combine the sugar and spices. So what I have here is I have 3/4 cup of sugar. Now I'm lucky enough to have a 3/4 cup measuring cup. If you don't, 3/4 cup, you can also get it by using a 1/2 cup and a 1/4 cup. Or you can use the 1/4 cup 3 times. That will get you 3/4. But I have a 3/4 measuring cup, so into the small bowl it goes. And my sugar and my salt and spices goes in here too. You'd have to look at the recipe to see how much the spice quantities are, but you got to make sure they're dead on right. Otherwise, you'll have a pie that's too spicy or not spicy enough. Okay, so to mix this up, just a regular spoon, nothing fancy, no whisk needed, not yet anyway. This, by the way, would be delicious sprinkled on toast. But that's another day. All right, so there's my sugar and spice. We'll do the next thing next in a moment. All right, here we go. So next step, I have a bigger bowl now, and into the bigger bowl, I'm going to put my 2 eggs, and I'm going to beat these 2 eggs with a whisk. Really beat those eggs. If you don't have a whisk, you could use a fork, but you definitely want to beat these eggs. Don't be delicate with them. They earned it. Okay. And what I'm going to add to this mixture, I'm going to add that sugar and spice mixture that we made, and I'm going to add all the pumpkin in this 15-ounce can. There it goes. There it goes. Pumpkin does not generally taste good right out of the can. Kind of tastes like squash, which is not a bad thing, or it really does taste like baby food. So maybe a baby would like it, don't really know. But we're gonna get all that pumpkin out of that can, and now we're gonna whisk this up. So we got the sugar and the spice stuff. Okay, so I'm gonna keep whisking this up till it looks nice and smooth, and then we'll come back. Okay, so my pumpkin, sugar, spice, egg mixture is nice and blended, and now I'm going to add the evaporated milk, which I've opened, and I'm going to add it gradually while whisking. And I'll tell you, this is probably going to be more pumpkin pie mixture than we need, and that's okay, because I'm going to show you what to do with the excess in just a minute. All right, so I've put my empty frozen, it's just right out of the freezer, you don't have to thaw it, pie crust on a foil lined baking sheet. I highly recommend you put the pie crust on a baking sheet and then take it to the oven. Otherwise, you will splash it on the floor. I speak from experience. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this mixture and I'm gonna put it in here. Now, did you notice something? This has been really easy. That's what I mean, it's the easiest pie to make. Okay, so I'm gonna take the mixture and I'm gonna fill it up. I know I'm gonna have extra, so I'm gonna go till about there, because this will puff up as it bakes. So let's get it in here. Ooh, there we go. And I'm gonna go just about to there, okay? Now look in here, you can see excess, all right? This is not enough to be able to fill another one of these pie shells, but I'm not gonna waste it. I have a couple of these things are called ramekins. I'm just gonna fill these guys up. Let's see how much we get with some of this extra stuff, and have a couple little crustless pumpkin pies on the side. There we go. Okay. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to super carefully put this into the oven. I mean, steady arms, steady, don't even sneeze, don't do anything like that. I'm going to put this into the oven. And then, real important, I'm going to set my, I don't know where my phone is, but that's okay. Oh wait, yeah, here we go. Well, thank you. I'm going to set my phone for 15 minutes, because here's the thing, guys. The pie is going to be in the oven at 425 degrees for 15 minutes. And then after 15 minutes, I'm going to turn the heat down to 350. And then it's going to bake for about 50 minutes longer. So it starts off at a higher temperature, and then you switch it to a lower temperature 15 minutes in. Okay, I will come back when it's time to change the temperature. There we go, guys. So it's been 15 minutes. So watch what I'm going to do. We're going to come down here to the oven knob, and we're going to move it down to 350. We're going to stop when we get to 350. There we go. Whoops, went a little too far. There we go. So this is now going to bake for the rest of the time at 350, and it's going to go for 40 to 50 more minutes. I'm going to set my timer for 40. Always set it for the lowest amount of time. And my house is starting to smell really good. And so we'll come back in about 40 to 50 minutes and see how our pie is doing.